Well, hello everyone. Thank you again so very much for sitting down and joining me today. So very nice to meet you if I haven't already met you in some way, shape, or form. My name is Ryan, and today we've got a bit of a sale haul, bit of a collection update. This is going to be pretty much, I'm pretty sure, the last things that are going to be coming through for the month of June. We're in June. Yeah, all sense of time is lost from me. So we're going to be having a couple of Dollar Tree pickups here today. We're going to be having my Vinegar Syndrome sale haul, my Father's Day gifts, as well as a couple of recent pickups that came in from Grindhouse video. So let's go right into it with the Dollar Tree pickups. Now these Dollar Tree pickups are courtesy of Jeff Collecting with Hammer, because my Dollar Tree around here got absolutely nothing on this go around. Absolutely nothing. It was shameful. It was a disgrace. It's whatever, man. I mean, it happens, right? But luckily he was nice enough to say, hey, is there anything that you're looking for? And I said, actually, yes. Because according to the forums and everything like that, there's going to be some stuff that came out on a DVD before. It's not going to be on Blue, so we'll go ahead and kind of upgrade. So he was able to grab 4 things for me. Could not be happier. And all of these, actually, I'm pretty sure, let me look at the entire haul real quick. Yeah, out of the whole haul, I've only seen 2 of these. And so everything that he grabbed from me, I haven't seen, because 2 of them I actually already owned on DVD format, but I just hadn't gotten around to watching them. So the very first one that he was able to pick up for me is the magnet release of This Girl Is Badass. I have the DVD copy right down over there, so this will be my upgrade. I love magnet films. I really nowadays I'm only seeing them in Dollar Trees, and when it comes to the Dollar Tree pickups, obviously the magnets are a pretty quick grab for me, especially for $1, of course. But this one is going to be, it's a martial arts film about a bike messenger who is working for 2 competing mobs in order to smuggle goods. I'm always down for a really good martial arts film. There's a really good one that I picked up from Dollar Tree called Raging Phoenix. Raging Phoenix, I believe, is the name. I've got it over here if I can really try to think of it. Yes, Raging Phoenix. That is a really bizarre movie, because we've got this sort of like drunken break dance martial arts movie. It's really bizarre, and it's very fun. And then the second half of it goes into, like, I mean, it looks like Legends of the Hidden Temple. It's bizarre, but I don't know if this movie will be quite as bizarre, but it should definitely be a lot of fun. Try to find a place to put that. We'll put this just right down there so nobody will find out. The next one that they picked up for me is another upgrade. Again, I have not seen this film, but I had it from one of the Dollar Tree pickups, right? I think a couple ones down below. And or a couple sales ago. If I can talk, I promise sometimes I can. But this is Frank. Put up by Magnolia, or this Magnolia Magnet. Yeah, this is about a rock musician who wears this fake head and never takes it off, sort of Dead Mousy, but not electronic music. We've got Michael Fassbender, Maggie Gyllenhaal. I actually heard about this movie for quite a few years before I started seeing it in Dollar Trees. I mean, this is one that I used to see in the pre-owns of Blockbuster. Back when I had my first collection. Because when did this movie come out? 2014, so it was definitely probably around the times when Blockbuster started phasing out, at least in my area, when that last little hold they had was fading away, and pretty much everything was for sale down to the shelving units, which was a very sad thing to see. But anyways, definitely excited to check this one out. This one was one that had always been in Dollar Trees, and I never ever saw them, and thankfully he found a copy, which I was super stoked of, and that is the Belko Experiment. I've never ever seen the Belko Experiment, but what's really interesting is that I've seen Mayhem, which I don't know if it's showing up in the shots, but it's actually right over there. And Mayhem and the Belko Experiment actually came out in the same year, 2017, I want to say. Yes, 2017. So it's one of those, it happens, but it's one of those really strange instances where you've got 2 very similar films. Kind of remember The Prestige and The Illusionist, that sort of thing, where you've got this battle royale in an office building, whereas Mayhem is all about this virus, this rage virus. And the entire office building is quarantined as everybody becomes infected with this virus that makes them lash out and become animalistic. Whereas in the Belko experiment, we've got these workers who there's this ominous message over the loudspeaker that essentially says kill or be killed. And so definitely gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited because I hear much more about the Belko experiment than I do Mayhem, even though Mayhem has Samara Weaving and she's definitely becoming, you know, like definitely one of the next queens of Scream. So excited to check that one out. And this one I don't know anything about. It just looked interesting. It's got a great cast. Christopher Maloney, Angela Bassett, Thomas Jane. Yeah, okay. But it's White Bird and a Blizzard. And this is definitely, it says, intriguing and haunting. Kat Connors is a young woman embracing her newfound sexuality when her glamorous but strange mother Eve vanishes. At first, Kat is excited by her new freedom, distracted by the boy next door and the cop working the case. But as disturbing facts about the disappearance surface, the mystery begins to haunt her. So a thriller, a mystery, definitely excited. Mainly because of Christopher Maloney's horrible mustache in there. So that should be good. Definitely excited for those four. Thank you again for Jeff for finding those for me, just taking the time out to do that. That's a really cool thing to do, man. Really stoked for that. Thanks, man. These are my Vinegar Syndrome pickups. We're gonna go into this. I only have three. I only have three because of the fact that the Vinegar Syndrome sale. Yes, this is what everybody knows about this one. It makes the rounds, but I mean, it came out on Memorial Day, and I didn't budget right for it. You know, to be honest, by the time this came down, I was tapped, man. I didn't have anything left, and so, but I had to pick up a few. So let's go into the things that I did pick up real quick. So we got the very first one, which is the beginning of the year, in this 1994 made-for-TV movie, The Ice Cream Man. Not made for TV. I'm sorry, direct-to-video. This definitely would have been on TV. Ice Cream Man. The really cool thing about this one, this is starring Clint Howard and J. Michael Vincent. This is one I've definitely never ever seen before. I remember seeing the cover and the name, honestly, but this wasn't the cover that I remember seeing. The cover that I remember seeing is definitely it's Clint Howard's face. It's just Clint Howard's face holding I think he's holding an ice cream cone. I don't know if it had like this sort of skull thing on it, but that's the cover that I remember. Unless maybe I'm putting that in my head as something else. But I am excited to check this one out. On here, newly scanned and restored in 2K from the 35mm original negative. There's a commentary track with the director. There is the Monster Vision episode with Joe Bob Briggs and Clint Howard. That's gonna be awesome. A interview with Clint Howard, with the director, with the producer, and a still gallery. There's reversible artwork, but it's basically the exact same as this. It just doesn't say Ice Cream Man on the top, so no reason to change that. So that's gonna be the very first one. This one, so the story behind this one is much more interesting than the film, probably. But when it comes to the film itself, as I'm watching the trailer, there's so many pieces of this film that look very familiar, to the point to where I'm not sure if I've seen this, or if maybe I've seen a video that had shown clips of this, or seen something that showed clips of this. I'm really not sure. I don't know if this was something in one of the random video store rentals that I had as a kid. I really don't remember, but that is going to be Spookies. Now, the thing about this, I mean, it's a very bizarre film, especially you can tell that from the trailer. I mean, it's really sort of like, we're gonna throw every monster into this mix, and at least 3 of them should stick, right? That's sort of kind of the feel that you get. But halfway through the movie though, the original creators and the directors are ousted. They are fired. There's a new guy who, I should have had the names already. Eugene Joseph comes in, and he adds new scenes, re-edits the previously shot footage. So you've literally got this mishmash, these two, for all intents and purposes, 2 different visions coming together to try to make this one movie. And so that's just absolutely bizarre. And on here though, it's a newly scanned and restored in 4K from the 35mm negative we have a feature-length making-of documentary, which that's the main thing that I'm so excited about, because I'm sure this film is going to be a blast and a half, possibly a half and a quarter. Especially because, I mean, there's so many different types of monsters and so many creatures, and it's just gonna be fun to look at all of those effects and all the makeup and the costumes and the rubber masks and everything like that, and to see if I really have seen this movie. But I want to know more about that story. I want to know all of the gritty, dirty details. There is a feature-length documentary on the notorious UK home video label, Vipco. There is the Alamo Drafthouse screening introductions with the director and the co-writer and producer, the original co-writer, producer, and director. There's a Q&A from the 2015 Hudson Horror Show. Then we've got outtakes, still galleries, trailers, different featurettes, stuff like that. There is alternate artwork on there. Which is really good too. It's a hard toss-up, but I'm gonna go for the one that is displayed on the website. But my thoughts might change. I don't know. At least for now, we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it with that. At least for now. But that could really change at any given moment. So I am definitely excited to check out Spookies. More so excited for that documentary. So. To have this back in there, and don't you hate it? You try to get that lined up just right, and you really, and you just can't. It's still sticking out a little bit, but that's fine. Spookies. All right, and the last title that I picked up in the Vinegar Syndrome sale is one that I saw many years ago, probably in the exact same format that pretty much everybody else saw. The original PG-13 cut of this, and it is not the 4K because I was being cheap, but I regret it now, definitely. But that is Tammy and the T-Rex. It's such a weird movie, but it is going to be where Denise Richards' boyfriend is mauled by a lion, and he's completely comatose, and his brain is taken by this mad scientist and implanted into a robotic T-Rex, who then, like, kind of horrified and tormented with what he's become, goes out on a rage and begins killing his former bullies, while meanwhile Denise Richards is trying to find a suitable human host to kind of re-implant his brain. It's such a weird movie, but this, what Vinegar Syndrome has done, is why everybody was so excited about this, and why I was so excited about this, because I obviously have never seen this cut. This is the full cut, the gory cut of Tammy and the T-Rex, because what had come out before was this PG-13, this heavily edited cut. And obviously until this was coming out and being talked about, or this release was being talked about, I had no idea that the film was so heavily edited and had been cut at all. And because then you can see the original artwork. I mean, that was what I had known. That was what I had known of Tammy and the T-Rex. So this is going to be so cool, because it's revisiting a movie that I have some memories of, but seeing it in a completely new way and seeing it in the way that it was meant to be, which that's absolutely phenomenal. So I mean, on here we have newly scanned and restored in 4K. There's an audio commentary with the director and producer, an interview with the director, an interview with Denise Richards, an interview with Sean Whalen, an interview with George Pilgrim. We also have sourced from video, but they have the actual PG-13 cut on here as well, the one that I saw many years ago. And that's what I thought is just really cool. I mean, we've got this restored edition of this, but then in SD, from video, we have the actual cut that everybody remembers, or the ones that everybody would have seen if you have seen this movie. Excuse me. And then the reversible artwork and everything like that. So definitely excited to check this one out. Definitely regretting that I was being cheap and didn't pick up the 4K. But as you can see from any of these, I was cheap and didn't pay the extra $4 for the slipcovers. I know. I mean, everybody, at least in this point, I've never been the fact. I mean, slipcovers, it's sort of like, if I've got 6 titles from a company, we'll say Vinegar Syndrome. If I've got 6 titles and 5 of them have slipcovers and 1 doesn't, then that's going to bother me. But, you know, I mean, I'm not out for hunting for the slipcovers, because I'm not going to get kind of up in my feelings or disappointed or try to pull something or make my decision based off of a piece of cardboard. But that's just me. All opinions on that can change. I do not discredit anybody who enjoys slipcovers because I do. But just not, they don't make or break anything for me. But if they're a big thing for you, then that's awesome, man. But let's see, let's go into the Father's Day pickups that I have for me. Because when it came to Father's Day, my wife, she kind of gave me a budget and was sort of like, just go get something because I like a lot of different movies, as you can if you can see any of the titles that are, I try to keep all the label stuff right here. But I like a lot of different movies, but the movies that I'm kind of talking about here, she doesn't like, I mean, she'll sit through some of them, but she's not really into the low budget horror or just horror in general or cult classic exploitation stuff. It's just not her bag, and that's cool, man. That's totally cool. So she's not gonna know sort of what to give me, or especially in that, because I mean, I think that she would want to have done something like that, get one of those kind of films, but I mean, she doesn't know because it's just not her thing. So Best Buy had opened up all their stores again, so I just kind of went in there, and it was slim pickings in there because I mean they're heavily understaffed, such as we are where I work. So I definitely felt for the guys. So I went in there and just kind of went through very quickly. I was hoping to see if they had any more 4Ks of Pet Sematary. It was Pet Sematary 2, I believe. But I can't remember, but it doesn't matter because I didn't have any. But I did pick up 3. The very first one that I picked up was one that I have heard mixed things about, but the price point was just $15 for the Blu-ray, and I had wanted to check it out because I have fond memories, and this series, Are You Afraid of the Dark and Goosebumps, was everything that got me into horror back in elementary school, probably 1st and 2nd grade. Around that time is when I really found it, and then I'd be engrossed into that sort of those 3 things until I discovered Stephen King, and that's sort of what piloted everything else that came later. But this is going to be Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Speaking of slips, by the way, produced by Guillermo del Toro. Now, I'm just so interested in this movie. I mean, we got Harold right there, obviously, because I think Harold is going to be one of the most recognizable stories or remembered stories from Scary Stories from any of the 3 books. But I'm really interested to see kind of how they tie these films sort of together, if they're doing more than they did in the Goosebumps movie, which is very good. I haven't seen the second one. But I'm interested to check that out. Very interested. This next one, it was another one that I had wanted to see, and I just never got around to doing so. So I was very happy to pick it up, and that is going to be Overlord. This seems like a really, just really weird movie. It's produced by J.J. Abrams for the Bad Robot Productions. And we've got these American paratroopers who are fighting Nazi super soldiers. I mean, it just seems like a whacked out, high octane, over the top action film. And it just looks like an absolute ton of fun in 4K. So I'm super excited to check that one out. And then this one was really cool. I've said before that I'm not a big steelbook guy. Like, I think they're cool, but that's definitely a rabbit hole that I am not going down. But this was just $12, and it was the steelbook of The Exorcist, the original Exorcist. This is the director's cut. And I don't have a copy of The Exorcist, as much as I love that film. I want to. It was either this one or Nightmare on Elm Street that was my first a real horror film that I had seen that wasn't like, a spooky kids show. So I'm super happy to have this because the steelbook looks nice, and I got it at a Best Buy store, so it did not come all dented. It didn't come to me all dented. So yeah, really definitely excited to check out. Look at Reagan. Reagan looks real creepy right there. I like that shot. Really happy to revisit this movie. I don't know if my wife's ever seen it, but this is something, I mean, she could definitely go into this sort of movie. Because I think that everybody should watch The Exorcist. Everybody should read The Exorcist. It's a really great book. And then recently I listened to, when I just kind of needing something to listen to some of the episodes of Just the Disc podcast that I missed. And Brian had an episode that he did with Brendan Small, which I love when he's on I love when he's on the podcast, because as you can see, I'm a big, it kind of shows up, you can see I'm a big Metalocalypse fan, and I'm a big fan of Brendan Small as well, starting with home movies. And they were talking about The Exorcist 2 Heretic, which I've never seen. So I'm gonna rewatch this, and then I am on the hunt for Heretic, because that seems like a really bonkers movie. So that's the stuff that I got for Father's Day, and these last two come from Grindhouse Video. Just a couple of things that I picked up. One I have seen, one I have never seen. And this one, I haven't seen it in a very long time, and I definitely haven't seen it in any restored version. I really don't think that I've seen it outside of being on TV. I think that might be the only way that I've actually seen it, come to think of it, because I don't think I've ever actually owned the film, even on DVD in the first collection. But regardless, that is the elevated release of Creepshow 2. And obviously, I'm very much, most of the time, especially with all these Arrow titles, I'm going to flip them over to the original artwork. But if you haven't seen it for whatever reason, the commissioned artwork on this one is probably my favorite out of all the commissioned artworks. I really like the one for Ringu, but like I said, it doesn't matter. I'm always going to flip it over to the original theatrical one. But that's a really, 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 really well done piece of art. I really, really like that. So this is one of those instances where the sequel was leaps and bounds better than the first one. I love Creepshow 2. So much so that I really don't remember Creepshow 1 very much, because I've always seen, every time, back in the day when I ditched cable many years ago, so maybe they still do this, but when every sort of channel had their 31 days of Halloween, every time you would get Creepshow and then Creepshow 2, and I would just watch Creepshow 2 because of The Raft. The Raft is so good. Everybody loves The Raft. And then Old Chief Woodenhead, classic stuff. Written by George A. Romero on the stories of Stephen King. Love Creepshow 2. This has a bunch, obviously, of special features on it as well. We have a 2K scan and audio commentary, a brand new interview with actor Daniel Beer, a brand new interview with Tom Wright, an interview with George Romero, interview with Tom Savini, a featurette on the special effects, including interviews with FX artist Howard Berger and Greg Nicotero, Berger on his special effects mentor Rick Baker, behind the scenes footage, image gallery, and there's the original screenplay on the BD-ROM, which is really, really cool. So I'm excited to recheck that one out, and I am going to show that one to my wife, because it's definitely not one that she would, like I said, horror is not her bag, but I know what things are not going to really jive with her, that she's not really going to want to watch. But Creepshow 2 is just so much fun. I mean, so she might like this one. And this one is now my second AGFA title. It was a blind buy, of course. Because like I've said before, I budget properly to where blind buys are not a big issue for me, because once I kind of go into and find a label that I support, then I'm gonna kind of go in, because blind buying is basically, with proper budgeting, blind buying is becoming the same experience that I can have with going into a video store. That's kind of how I replicate that, I guess. But that is a Scary Movie. And what's cool is that every time I would see this, I picked this up from Grindhouse, and I don't know if I saw it on the description at Grindhouse's site or maybe at Diabolic, but it says, it would say Scary Movie, no, not that one. Because this, obviously, I had never heard of this movie before. This is 1991, which we've got on Halloween night, big-time nerd Warren attends a spook house in a small Texas town. But is the haunted house as harmless as it seems, or has a psychotic mental patient found a new stomping ground? Scary Movie combines Argento-esque neon, Freddy Krueger dreamscapes, and slapstick inspired to be Evil Dead 2 to forge a Valentine to Halloween, rubber monster masks, and chopped off limbs. And there's songs by the Butthole Surfers in there too, so I'm definitely down for that. Not a whole lot of special features on here. We do have a 2K preservation, a commentary, and 2 short films from the director Daniel Erickson, and the original trailer, and it says "and more." I don't know if there's actually more featurettes on there, or if it's just like an image gallery or stuff like that, but really, really happy to check this one out, because the trailer definitely looked fun. This is one where this is one of the few instances when I'm keeping this cover, because this cover looks great. This one, which I'm assuming is the original, it's just lackluster in comparison. You know, it just doesn't. Although I do think that the face on here, it kind of reminds me of, it's almost kind of like, what's that creepypasta? Jeff the Killer, maybe? I think it's Jeff the Killer. It's kind of got, like Jeff the Killer's kind of got these Scary Movie vibes going on with that. So I highly doubt that that's actually sort of where that came from, but you never know. So I'm excited to check this one out because it definitely looks like an immense amount of fun. So that is gonna be Scary Movie, and that, guys, that, ladies and gentlemen, is everything that I picked up, which I'm pretty sure just based on tracking information, I think it's gonna be everything for the month of June. I'm still debating on how we're gonna be doing haul videos. I mean, I don't know if I should kind of do them in one big burst, except for like large sales, like when the Severance sale comes in, whenever that, you know, would come in, I would do an unboxing for that. But since the Vinegar Syndrome sale was so small, I wanted to box it up to a regular, you know, collection update. Or should I kind of piecemeal them? I don't know. We're all in for this ride together of figuring out this channel. We're all doing it together. And that is why I thank you for sitting down and going through these pickups with me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did enjoy it, please be sure to hit the like button because there's lots of additional content. We have haul videos such as this, unboxings, reviews, all sorts of stuff with many things coming down the road, many things changing as we go along. All of my contact and social media info is in the description box down below. If you have an opinion on any of these films, if you've seen any of these films, please leave a comment down below. We'll have a discussion about it. If you just want to say hi, I'll say hi back. But other than that, that's everything I got for you today. That is everything I got for you today and for the month of June, I think. But I will catch you on the next video. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day.